Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I'm down in Temple again. I'm going to be talking to John Guthrie about my role in the Silo of Screams this year. Opening day is 3 days away, so we're getting really close, and I figured I better know what I was going to do. So it's about 6:30 or so on Tuesday night. John's not here yet. He said he was going to be here between 6:30 and 6:45, but I'm just kind of wandering around the site and looking at a couple things. Now, John tells me that he tends to work at night out here rather than working during the day to try and avoid the heat a little bit. Not very often you get to see the place with the lights on, so he's been adding new attractions. This truck showed up last year, and he had some kind of gruesome imagery inside the truck, and also looks like he's got some sort of impaled body hanging from it. So that's kind of cool. See, it still has the hornet's nest in it from last year. Yeah. But when I ran into John at the Comic-Con, oh yeah, it's an active hornet's nest too. Look at that. They're flying around in there. Get too close to that, it's going to be a real horror show. But anyway, when I was talking to him about the Silo at the Comic-Con a couple months ago, he mentioned that he had acquired a couple of airplanes that had been sitting and rotting in a field for, I don't know, years and years. And he said he was gonna move them over here and try and use them in some sort of a display here. And he sent me a couple pictures a couple days ago, and yeah, they're right here. Holy cow, look at that. He'd sent me pictures, or showed me pictures at the Comic-Con a couple months ago, but doesn't really do justice to this because they were still kind of rotting in the field when he showed that to me. So, okay, actually it looks like he's got 3 of them because I didn't see this. I heard it was 2. Yeah, but he's got that one, he's got this one, and it looks like there's a 3rd one over here. So, I don't know, that's going to be actually kind of cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with it. I don't think he's going to probably have them ready for this year because, you know, he was talking about doing some sort of, like, I don't know, maybe a plane crash scene or something with zombies all over the place. So, you know, whatever John does, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, it looks like he's got 3 of them here. That's a trip. I guess he had a crane in here the other day, moving these things into place. Like I said, they're in pretty rough shape. I don't think they'll ever fly again, but they're perfect for a Halloween attraction, right? Now, if you watched the video I shot of John a couple years ago where I actually got a chance to interview him, he said that originally this site had been planned for some sort of an office building, and that, you know, at some point they may sell the property. Well, apparently they've got a contract now to build something way up there, and he might have to actually leave the property in a year or two, depending on how much they expand. But he says he's been looking at another location and has all sorts of great ideas for where he wants to go with that. So even if the Silo does move, it will be somewhere else, and it'll probably be bigger and better than ever. Alright, so I've had my meeting with John. I've selected my character. I'm basically going to kind of be reprising what I did last year, and this was sort of by choice for me, and that is basically I just kind of hung out here and scared the guests when they came in, you know, chased them around, stuff like that. So we're going to be doing that again. Got a little bit more understanding of this. Apparently this is going to be maybe ready to go in a couple weeks. I think when opening starts this week, he was talking about maybe barricading this one off so people could go up and take photos of it and stuff like that. But he didn't really want people seeing what's going on down there, basically because he's got something else he's got in mind down here. And I'm going to actually wander down here and see what I can see. He wants to do, in addition to doing the zombies and stuff like that all over the airplanes, he wants to do kind of a Wizard of Oz kind of themed thing. And you know, he's already got the forest back here, so he's just going to do that, and he's going to have a creepy cornfield for where they pick up the scarecrow and the Tin Man scene and all that, and there's going to be flying monkeys and the whole thing, and that's all going to be back here somewhere. He was saying kind of back near that big tree up there is where that would all start. That's also, he says, part of the reconfiguring of this place for the fact that they're about to you know, sell that area in the bottom end there for that business complex that they're going to put in there. But he says he owns all of this back to the fence line, all the way up to the highway over there. And so there's still like 5 acres of space in here. So I don't know what if there's anything back here to see yet. But he says there's going to be like a you know, yellow brick road and all that back here. Like I said, I don't know how much of it he's got, but I saw he was building like the little munchkin houses up front. So I don't know, knowing the way John does stuff like this, this will probably be really, really cool. Yeah, see, it doesn't look like he's got a whole lot back here right now, but this is sort of what his plans are in terms of what the future is. It's all going to be back here. So I don't know, I've never been this far back here, so it's kind of interesting to imagine this happening back here. Now he says he's going to lose all of his parking place up at the top there, but like I said, he says he owns the room all the way over there to the highway, so there's plenty of room for more parking if he needs it. And he was also talking a little bit about the marketing of all of this, because he says he's kind of peaked out in what he can usually get, and I guess they've done studies and stuff like that haunts and stuff like this, generally you're going to get about 7% of the audience of people who live within like a 10-mile radius of the place. So he says he's already kind of hit that, and that's why he's looking to increase the revenue by adding additional haunts and stuff like that. And I don't know, it seems like he's got a lot of plans for the future. So you know, I have a good time doing this, and it's a big part of my Halloween, kind of getting me wound up and ready for Halloween. So looking forward to that. And like I said, he's planning on having this ready to be seen maybe by middle October, so that'll be really cool too. So we're looking forward to that. He says there's new stuff in all the haunts this year, because he always likes to reconfigure things. I guess the fun house, he basically reversed the direction that people walk in the fun house, so they go out next to the merch booth, which I guess probably is a good idea if you want to sell merchandise. You don't send them to the merch booth before they go into the haunt. Otherwise, you know, they forget about it on the way through, or they get too scared and they run out. This way, you know, they'll go through the merch booth at the end and get an opportunity to, you know, bring home some souvenirs, if you will. So there's also one other thing that John mentioned to me. I contacted him yesterday about coming down and visiting and discussing my role. And in the process of doing that, he says that I'm getting a billboard in Waco again this year. He showed me where it is. He showed me what the picture is. I'll actually put it on the screen so you can look at it. And it's supposed to go up in about a week. So I will definitely post something about that when it happens. Do another I Am Infamous kind of video if I have to, and we'll go from there. So I was really kind of glad that he continues to do that. He apparently has like 50 billboards around the area, and a lot of them, you know, when he's looking at like the people who live in the area, and that's why I consistently get the ones down around Waco, because I live in Waco. And so that's really cool. I'm looking forward to that too. But yeah, looks like there's all sorts of great stuff coming here. Can't wait to see what this looks like in a couple weeks. I might actually have to come down as a guest. So I think that pretty much wraps up my video for today. I am going to go home and I'll do one little scene after my wrap up and show you what my mask looks like. He got a couple of new masks, and I picked one off of that list. So I thought it was a really good one. He thought it was the best one of the bunch. So I'll show you what that looks like when I get home. Alright, so I'm back from the silo, and this is actually the mask that I picked out. I thought that one looked really, really horrific. I guess those things are supposed to be maggots coming out of it, so I'm going to have maggots all over me. But yeah, it looks like some sort of body that got horribly burned, and then of course I have a typical blood splattered apron though, where I picked this one out too just because the colors were like a really disturbing tie-dye, and so I thought that looked pretty cool. I also got just a little plastic knife here that's over here, and I can get it untangled from the plastic bag here. You know, I like being able to have some sort of an intimidating weapon as a prop, and it helps create the illusion, you know, that you're in some sort of post-apocalyptic nightmare kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. That's going to be kind of creepy, right? So, there you go. Now, John also gave me a little bit of what he called perma blood that he says that I can use to deface this a little bit, put some blood splatter on it. So I'm going to use that. I've worked with some of the artificial blood before, and one of the problems I always run into is, you know, it gets really hot out there, and sometimes that artificial blood starts getting gooey and runny when it gets really, really warm. He said, no, this stuff isn't like that. It dries, and then it remains you know, solid, and it looks kind of real, but it doesn't get sticky, which is what some of the other stuff did. So, like I said, he had a little bit of a bottle of this stuff left, and should be just enough to bloody up this knife, and that should create a horrific thing. I am going to be outside greeting guests when they come in, like I did before. You know, I think he wants, you know, if he wants people who are going to be there, you know, every time to kind of do the more critical roles. And I understand I can't do that anymore, what with work and all that. So I think this will be good. He always said, you know, the sad part about that is you don't quite get the scares that you normally do. And I told him that today, and I said, yeah, I got my share of scares last year, so I'll do just fine out there. So yeah, I told him I definitely wouldn't be there on Thursday. Friday is actually I told him I wouldn't be there on Friday, maybe Saturday, but definitely next week, because I'll be off of work for a maintenance interval at that point, so I'll be ready for both of those. So anyway, if you get a chance to enter down in Temple, check me out at the Silo of Screams. I will be right near the main entrance wearing this guy. So anyway, I think that's all I got for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Pleasant dreams.